Mirai was a little foodie. Since childhood, she had been ridiculed and bullied by other children due to her weight. Determined to make a change, she decided to lose weight. She believed that she was like a lottery ticket waiting to be revealed. Through persistent exercise, she could achieve a slim figure and escape the ridicule. She succeeded and lived an ordinary life for a while. However, her first confession during puberty made her realize that even though she had slimmed down, her plain appearance was still subject to classmates' disrespect. The pressure from this realization led her to a mental breakdown. After graduating from high school, her mother took her to a plastic surgery clinic, transforming her into an artificial beauty. Today was the first day of college orientation. Mirai arrived to register and observed her fellow students, silently giving them scores in her mind. At that moment, Hyunsua entered. Mirai was certain Hyunsua was a 100% natural beauty with an attractive personality. Even Mirai herself was captivated. Soon after, a male student also arrived to register. The seniors were amazed, commenting that the freshman class had set a new standard for good looks. During the self-introduction session, the male student introduced himself as Young Seok. Hearing his name, Mirai wondered if he was her former high school classmate. Hyunsua also went up to introduce herself, and the male students became excited. Hyunsua jokingly declared herself forever single and told them not to ask questions about it. When it was Mirai's turn to introduce herself, she felt a bit nervous, while Young Seok kept staring at her. After the introductions, they moved to the group dinner. From afar, Mirai watched Young Seok and recalled that back in high school, he was a famous face genius known for his looks. She never expected this popular figure to attend the same university. During the game session, the boys competed in a beer-drinking contest, and Young Seok instantly became the champion. The girls played a game where they had to guess song titles. Mirai secretly whispered the answers to her classmates, helping them get all correct. Two groups tied, and each had to select a representative to perform and determine the winner. Mirai, skilled at guessing songs, was chosen to represent her group. Hyunsua opted to sing, taking the beautiful girl with a sweet voice approach. Mirai's every move was captivating. A senior suggested that someone assist Hyunsua, and she elegantly stepped up to the microphone. However, her demeanor remained aloof, prompting classmates to tease that they were a perfect couple. Then, it was Mirai's turn. As the lights illuminated her, she began her performance, instantly igniting the atmosphere. Young Seok was mesmerized, recalling how in high school, Mirai would listen to music through her headphones and quietly practice alone at the bus stop. He thought the girl in front of him was genuinely adorable. As the music ended and applause erupted, Mirai stood at the center of the stage, savoring the moment. After witnessing her performance, the male students became even more interested in her. One of them started pouring drinks for her and insisted on drinking from the same cup, making Mirai uncomfortable, so she ran outside. Meanwhile, a senior girl tried to flirt with Young Seok by showing off in front of him, but he was unimpressed. He casually grabbed a beer and slipped outside. At the door, he found Hyunsua waiting. She took the initiative to talk to him, but when she didn't get a response, she tugged on his shirt, playing coy. Ignoring her antics, Young Seok shouted, causing the other guys to swarm around Hyunsua like flies. Young Seok left the scene coldly. Back inside, the persistent male classmate continued his advances, handing Mirai a bottle of water and suggesting she rest in a lounge nearby. As he led her there, Young Seok saw everything. In the lounge, just as the senior was about to lock the door, Young Seok interrupted, ruining his plan. The embarrassed senior awkwardly left. As Mirai was about to leave, Young Seok stopped her and asked if she had graduated from Zilong High School. Startled, Mirai wondered if the high school heartthrob had recognized her despite her plastic surgery. She panicked but managed to stay silent, leading Young Seok to think he might have mistaken her for someone else. The next day at the college opening ceremony, Mirai's parents arrived with flowers to see her. Her father suddenly appeared in front of her, and recalling a past encounter, asked if she had seen his daughter. Mirai called out, "Dad!" shocking him. He dropped the flowers in disbelief, unable to accept that his daughter had secretly undergone plastic surgery. Later, Mirai went to class and found that the glasses-wearing male classmate had saved her a seat and invited her to have lunch together. Reluctantly, she agreed. The persistent senior continued to chase Mirai, asking if she had considered dating him. Confused and overwhelmed, she excused herself to the restroom. Seizing the opportunity, Hyun-sua appeared and lied to the senior, claiming she liked him, leaving him flustered and distracted. When Mirai returned, the senior immediately turned cold and pretended not to know her. As he was about to leave, Young-seok extended his foot and tripped him, causing the senior to fall awkwardly. He was furious and about to throw a chair at Young-seok when Mirai intervened, only to be pushed aside. She ended up falling right into Young-seok's arms. After class, Young-seok bought a drink, and Hyun-sua playfully went to the side, acting cute. She told him she liked him and began to act sweet. While they were talking, some other female classmates saw them and commented that they looked like they were in an idol drama. Young-seok wasn't interested in the drama and quickly handed her the drink, telling her to come talk to him privately. Hyun-sua, watching from the sidelines, felt a wave of jealousy. Young-seok returned the perfume bottle to Mirai and once again asked if she was indeed the Mirai from Zilong High School. Realizing she couldn't hide it anymore, Mirai confessed, asking Young-seok not to tell anyone about her past appearance. At a gathering at a bar, all the chemistry department students were having fun. Mirai had been losing in the games and drinking a lot. By the third round, both she and Young-seok lost, prompting the classmates to cheer. Young-seok confidently drank his glass and even helped Mirai drink hers. By this point, everyone sensed the growing tension and chemistry between them. The game continued, and this time, Hyun-sua lost. She pretended to be delicate, saying she had drunk a lot, and gazing at Young-seok, but got no reaction from him. Just as she was feeling awkward, a classmate, Won-ho, appeared and helped her by drinking a glass for her. In front of everyone, Won-ho confessed his feelings to Hyun-sua, only to be rejected, which made him run off sadly. The classmates expressed how envious they were of Hyun-sua's beauty, explaining why so many boys confessed to her. Hyun-sua immediately responded, claiming to be completely natural, never having undergone plastic surgery, and even complimented Mirai, assuring everyone that Mirai also hadn't had surgery. Upon hearing this, all the classmates were at a loss for how to respond. But Young-seok confronted her, asking if she really didn't know what she had done wrong. Feeling the tension, Hyun-sua played the victim and began to cry, apologizing. Mirai was confused, wondering why Young-seok kept targeting Young-seok. The once joyful gathering ended awkwardly, and Young-seok approached Mirai to apologize, asking her not to be mad. Just then, the senior arrived to comfort Young-seok and asked if she would consider dating him. Young-seok responded that she and Mirai had become good friends and couldn't date someone her friend liked. The senior tried to explain, but Hyun-sua ran off. Angry, the senior confronted Mirai, asking if she liked him. If she didn't, why had she said such things to Hyun-sua? He insinuated that she was just trying to ruin their relationship. Mirai, frustrated, ignored him, and was about to walk away when the senior, unwilling to let it go, insulted her, calling her a plastic surgery freak. Enraged, Mirai hit him with her bag. The senior was stunned, and Mirai, feeling devastated, ran off. Young-seok, noticing her distress, followed quietly and stayed by her side, wanting to protect her. Meanwhile, Mirai wandered aimlessly in the streets, her mind clouded with sadness. Young-seok spotted her sitting outside a convenience store, crying. Young-seok wanted to take her away, but the assistant teacher intervened, offering her water. This made Mirai remember the senior's earlier words. She knocked the water over. After the gathering, Hyun-sua was dropped off at her house by a male classmate, who commented on how beautiful she was and how impressive it was that she lived in such a luxurious home. After a while, Hyun-sua checked her phone, left her apartment, and walked to the bus stop alone. It turns out the rich, beautiful persona was all fake. The next day at school, Hyun-sua encountered Won-ho, who had confessed to her the previous day. Despite not liking him, she still complimented his long legs and sent ambiguous signals to the boys. Hyun-sua tried to explain to Young-seok that her actions with Mirai the previous day were unintentional. She admitted that Mirai was truly beautiful, but Young-seok wasn't having it, and ignored her explanation, turning away in frustration. Meanwhile, the other students started to notice the growing closeness between Young Seok and Mirai, which led them to believe the two were involved romantically. Mirai, feeling self-conscious about the ongoing gossip regarding her appearance, was grateful that Young Seok sat next to her and offered support. After class, Mirai wanted to talk with Young Seok about the previous day's events. She defended Hyun Sua, suggesting that her actions might have been unintentional. Young Seok, however, questioned why Mirai cared so much about defending Hyun Sua. Mirai explained that her middle school face had been hard to bear, and plastic surgery had been the only option. Despite her efforts to explain, it seemed that Young Seok wasn't fully understanding her struggles. At that moment, a heated confrontation took place. When the senior boy, feeling insulted, tried to reprimand her, Young Seok stepped in and calmed the situation down. This caused the incident to spread throughout the school, with classmates coming to comfort Mirai. Mirai, touched by their kindness, reflected on how shallow she had been in evaluating her own appearance. Meanwhile, Hyun Sua continued her narrative, explaining that the senior had treated her so poorly because she had rejected his advances, and in turn had sided with Mirai. The situation escalates as Hyun Sua begins searching into the nature of the relationship between Mirai and Young Seok, wondering if they might be dating. Mirai denies it, explaining that they were simply middle school classmates. Hyun Sua quickly catches on to the key point and, unable to resist, spreads the gossip that Young Seok and Mirai have a history together, further fueling rumors among their classmates. Hyun Sua, having uncovered Mirai's surgery secret, eagerly shares it with others. This causes a ripple effect, and people start questioning Mirai's past and her appearance, speculating that she wasn't always ugly as they had thought. Meanwhile, Mirai and Young Seok have a meal together, apologize to each other, and clear up the misunderstandings from their middle school days. Young Seok reveals that he never mocked Mirai for her appearance, and they both feel relieved to have reconciled. After school, Mirai meets up with her best friend and receives a surprising message. She has been selected for a modeling opportunity. Excited, Mirai plans to go meet with her friend and experience this new chance to step into the world of beauty and fashion. However, Hyun Sua continues to stir the pot. She talks about Young Seok and Mirai's middle school connection, and the rumors continue to spread. During a lab class, while Mirai is working, she accidentally burns herself. The teaching assistant, noticing this, rushes to help her. Hyun Sua, seizing the moment, purposefully causes a mess by spilling lab equipment and making the situation more dramatic. When Mirai tries to clean up the glass shards, the teaching assistant grabs her hand to stop her, and Young Seok, who was about to step in, is overshadowed by the assistant's intervention. Young Seok, taking care of Mirai's supposed injury, gently washing her hand with clean water. But Mirai realizes she wasn't actually hurt. Despite her suspicions about what happened with the broken lab equipment, Mirai remains silent. Later, Young Seok approaches her, asking if her hand is fine and whether it was really her who broke the glass. Mirai recalls handing the equipment to Hyun Sua perfectly, unsure why it shattered after being passed to her. She feels a lingering doubt about the situation. After school, Mirai and her best friend walk home, but Mirai feels like someone is following her. She soon meets the teaching assistant, who introduces her to a brand representative, Luo, at a casting event. Mirai is in awe of Luo, a natural beauty, and feels embarrassed about her previous comments about beauty standards. During the event, Mirai and Luo bond over their shared interest in perfume and fragrances. Mirai reveals her dream of becoming a perfumer, which resonates with Luo, who also studied chemistry at the same university. The two find a connection over their pasts. Meanwhile, Hyun Sua is working at a cafe when a classmate approaches her with a yearbook from Young Seok's middle school days. They notice that Mirai's photo is missing, sparking curiosity and suspicion about her past, particularly about her appearance before any potential plastic surgery. Later, Mirai and Luo head to a bar where Young Seok is also present. When Young Seok spots Mirai, he begins to approach her, but before he can say anything, Luo seems shocked to see him. Mirai quickly introduces Young Seok, but then things take an unexpected turn when Young Seok questions Luo's intentions in the bar. Luo, the brand manager, makes a comment that angers Young-sok, causing him to storm out. The next day at school, Mirai meets with Young-sok, who tells her about his relationship with Luo, saying she is his mother. He asks her not to share this with other classmates, and Mirai agrees. The story then transitions to summer activities, where Hyeon-sua represents her class. From a window on the second floor, Hyeon-sua spots Mirai and Young-seok together, which sparks further curiosity. Later, Mirai and Young-seok head to a bar. Before Mei-lai can speak, Young-seok apologizes for his earlier behavior and clarifies that meeting with Luo was not her fault. He admits he shouldn't have taken out his frustration on her. Mirai then opens up, asking if he really doesn't want to talk to his mom. This question leads to a revelation. Mirai's father disapproved of her plastic surgery, and during a school ceremony, he found out the truth, which caused a huge rift. Mirai eventually left home because of the emotional strain. During this time, she always felt someone following her, only later realizing it was her father. She describes the sadness that stemmed from their broken relationship. Young-seok, hearing this, questions whether Mirai is truly happy with the way her life has turned out after the surgery. Mirai expresses guilt, admitting her surgery's scars are still noticeable. Young-seok reassures her that he wasn't mocking her when he first saw her practicing dance. He explains that seeing her happy and dancing was the first time he genuinely smiled in years, a memory tied to his difficult childhood and his mother's behavior. As the conversation continues, the two share a deeper, vulnerable connection. Mirai, feeling tipsy, tries to walk in a straight line but stumbles toward the street. Young-seok quickly grabs her to prevent her from stumbling into danger. The scene shifts to a bus stop, where Mirai recalls why Young-seok's attitude towards her seemed so cold when she wore perfume. Young-seok reveals that after a fight between his parents, his mother would spray a particular perfume, and the smell reminded him of the tension at home. He admits that it wasn't directed at her, just his own emotional association with the scent. The conversation is interrupted by the arrival of the bus, and the two go their separate ways, heading home. Young-seok reflects on the encounter, realizing that Mirai is truly endearing. Meanwhile, Mirai is no longer indifferent, as she begins to realize how Young-seok has been looking out for her, even stepping in to defend her from the male senior in the restroom. After experiencing a calculated date, Young-seok realized he needed to move out of his childhood friend's bar, find a job, and head to the campus career guidance office. Young-seok, looking for house to stay, consult his teacher. Once the teacher told her that the school couldn't help with her request, he found that Woo-young looking for a roommate. However, he didn't have enough cash at the moment. He asked if he could pay rent with a microwave or coffee machine instead. Woo-young quickly realized that Young-seok had run away from home, so he drew up a contract. The original rent was 100,000, but if Young-seok took care of all the housework, the rent would be reduced to 70,000. They both agreed to the terms amicably. At this time, Mirai came to Woo-young's house to deliver some small dishes. To her surprise, when she turned around, she saw the radiant Young-seok making an entrance. Young-seok told Mirai that he and Woo-young were now roommates. That evening, when it was time to take out the trash, Mirai bumped into Young-seok again. Young-seok seemed to always make subtle efforts to get closer to her. Mirai felt a bit embarrassed. Young-seok seemed not to know how to sort the trash properly, and as she was about to crush a can, the atmosphere between them grew more awkwardly intimate. Young-seok returned to his room and checked his wallet. He realized he needed to find a job quickly since he couldn't even afford the rice balls at the convenience store. He was even almost desperate enough to pick one up off the ground but decided not to. He couldn't afford the bus fare either, so he walked to school. Young-seok didn't have breakfast and had no plans for lunch either. The assistant called him and told him to come to the teacher's cafeteria to eat. When class started, Hyun-sua actively tried to sit next to Young-seok, making excuses about not understanding the lessons and asking her questions. Mirai noticed everything. When Young-seok saw Mirai approaching, he immediately moved his bag aside and told her to sit next to him. Hyun-sua instantly felt uncomfortable. After class, Luo, the company president, called Mirai and asked to meet her. On her way home, Young-seok suddenly saw Mirai on the street, calling her name. Mirai was startled by his sudden appearance. She had arranged to meet someone there, and Young-seok asked if it was the assistant. Was it because the assistant liked her? Mirai quickly explained that she didn't like the assistant, and Young Seok finally felt relieved. As they chatted, President Luo suddenly appeared. Young Seok told her that he had moved out of his family's house and was now living nearby. The three of them went to a restaurant together, where Young Seok began to eat quickly. His mother found this strange, since he usually didn't care about food. She asked if he wanted anything else, and Young Seok requested beer to go with the grilled meat. It turns out Young Seok had quite a strong tolerance for alcohol, just like his mother. As soon as they stepped out, they ran into the assistant, who invited them to come over to his place. They had a second round of drinks, and while they were drinking, Mirai shyly smiled, watching the interaction between Luo, the company president, and Young Seok. One was her benefactor, and the other was the person she liked. She got so drunk that she collapsed onto the floor. Luo, the president, prepared to take Mirai home, and both the assistant and Young Seok tried to fight over who would take her. Of course, Young Seok's mother helped her son by making sure he got to take Mirai home. Young Seok's mother felt that her life was starting to come together and, without hesitation, gave him some money to buy hangover medicine for Mirai. Finally, with a little money in his pocket, Young Seok immediately bought a bus card and also got some hangover medicine for Mirai. The next day, Mirai woke up, and her best friend told her that it was Young Seok who had taken her home the night before. Mirai felt embarrassed and frustrated. When she went to school, she found Young Seok waiting for her outside. He directly handed her the medicine, and they took the bus together. Young Seok reassured her that she hadn't been rude the night before and that there was no need to worry. He also reminded her not to drink too much. Once they got on the bus, a young boy tried to ask Mirai for her contact info, but Young Seok quickly intervened, telling the boy that he was Mirai's boyfriend. Mirai found it odd and asked why Young Seok was lying to others. Young Seok explained that he was a guy and also a friend of hers, so he was her boyfriend now. Not long after, Mirai received a call for a job interview. Young Seok, hearing about it, expressed interest in going with her. Due to his good looks, he ended up landing a job at the store as well. On the first day of work, as Young Seok was leaving, he ran into Luo, the company president, who offered to take them to work together. Not long after starting, Young Seok's younger sister came to find him, and the two of them had lunch together. Luo, the president, was concerned about his son working for the first time, so he decided to stop by and check on him during lunch. Unexpectedly, she also saw her daughter. She greeted her carefully, and the mother and daughter sat down to talk. However, the younger sister wasn't grateful for her mother's concern. No matter what her mother said, abandoning them was a fact, and it was all for a man. Luo was puzzled by this. She had never done such a thing. She stormed into his ex-husband's office, not expecting that the ex-husband would accuse her of running off with a young lover. She couldn't accept that his child misunderstood her and warned his ex-husband that if he didn't clear things up with the children during this crucial time of his campaign, she couldn't guarantee what she might do. Young Seok's father, afraid of the election's impact, confessed to his daughter that her mother had never cheated. The daughter collapsed upon hearing this. Her father's lies had caused her to hate her mother for over 10 years. After a rooftop gathering, Mirai's observant best friend realized that Young Seok seemed to like Mirai, and she asked Mirai about her feelings. Mirai replied that she hoped her partner would be someone who frequently looked good and could tolerate her cosmetic surgery. Just then, Mirai received a call from Hyun Sua wanting to chat. Mirai's best friend warned her that Hyun Sua was very calculating, and she should be careful. After work, male colleagues seemed to be talking to Mirai intentionally. Young Seok felt a bit jealous. Luo asked Young Seok to come out, and she reassured him that she hadn't abandoned them for the pretty boy. She needed to explain this to Young Seok, but hearing this made Young Seok sad, and he shed some tears. Hyun Sua later said that Mirai had plastic surgery to enjoy the attention of men, and that ugly people getting plastic surgery would make already attractive people suffer. Mirai then realized that she had misunderstood Hyun Sua. Hyun Sua had disliked her from the beginning. Hyun Sua immediately explained, starting to play her usual tricks. Mirai couldn't listen anymore and walked away, deeply upset. Her best friend noticed her change in mood and guessed that Mirai liked Young Seok. She asked Mirai what her true feelings were. She voiced her concerns, saying that she didn't want to be talked about as a cosmetic surgery freak, or for people to gossip about her appearance. She couldn't accept it anymore. She just wanted to live quietly. The next day, she and Young-suk went to the mall to work, but Mirai deliberately kept her distance from him. Hyun-sua suddenly appeared in her uniform, catching Mirai off guard. Hyun-sua texted Mirai, asking if she could have lunch with Young-suk alone. When lunchtime came, the manager asked Mirai and Young-suk to stay behind and work overtime. Mirai volunteered to stay, helping to create an opportunity for Young-suk and Hyun-sua. Young-seok, getting straight to the point, asked Hyun-sua why she came to work at the store and why she was so interested in him and Mirai. He told her to stop. Meanwhile, in the men's restroom, they started gossiping about Mirai and Hyun-sua. They even discussed choosing Hyun-sua over Mirai, and one of them commented on Mirai's face, saying it looked completely altered. They wondered if her chest had also been enhanced, though they couldn't tell. Mirai overheard everything. Young-seok walked Mirai home. Mirai thought Young-suk misunderstood her, believing that she liked him. Just as she was about to leave, Young-suk grabbed her hand. "Do you like me?" he asked. Surprised, Mirai immediately pulled her hand away, apologizing if her actions had caused any misunderstanding. She explained that she only considered him a good friend and had no other feelings for him. Mirai, feeling down, went home and told herself not to overthink it. Soon, Luo, the company president, contacted Mirai, saying that Young-seok's emotions had been unstable lately. She asked Mirai to inform her if she noticed anything unusual. As they continued talking, Mirai shared her own concerns. Luo was confused why Mirai would give up on the boy who liked her when she liked him too. Mirai explained that the boy was too perfect for her, and besides, he had a beautiful girl by his side who also liked him. Everyone thought that the two of them were a better match, and Mirai feared being judged for being someone who had undergone cosmetic surgery. Luo reassured her that her worries were unnecessary. Mirai should follow her heart. Luo believed that the beautiful girl Mirai mentioned might have her own struggles, and that she shouldn't let go of someone who truly cared for her. On her way home, Mirai was approached by the teaching assistant, who invited her to watch a movie. Soon, they joined a group from the perfume company's internship for a dinner at a bar. Young-seok, after a short while, decided to leave alone. It started to rain, and he quickly went to a convenience store to buy an umbrella for Mirai. As he stood at the door, he bumped into Hyun-sua, who tried to flirt with him, remarking that the umbrella must be for her. Young-seok warned her to stop playing games. Hyun-sua, confused, claimed that she had always wanted to get closer to him, saying her feelings for him were genuine. Young-seok, however, told her that if she truly liked him, she wouldn't have treated him that way. Hyun-sua seemed to notice that Mirai was about to approach. Mirai, who had been walking towards them, saw the scene and immediately ran out. Young-seok, in turn, pushed Hyun-sua aside, but Hyun-sua wasn't giving up. It was at this moment that Young-seok realized what was happening and ran out to chase after Mirai. Mirai, upset and in tears, was standing in the rain when Young-seok appeared in front of her holding an umbrella. He asked her why she was running away and if seeing him and Hyun-sua upset her. Mirai had once said that she wasn't interested in Hyun-sua, and now, concerned about Young-seok getting wet, he grabbed her hand. Mirai began to worry about how others would perceive her if she were with Young-seok. She felt that they couldn't be together and was very concerned about how people would view her. She feared that being with him would bring a lot of pressure. Young-seok, saddened, turned and walked away, while Mirai cried in the rain. The next day, Mirai ran into Young-seok again at school. They spoke briefly, with Young-seok saying that if pursuing her caused her pain, he wouldn't continue. However, he couldn't just go back to being friends. He was willing to wait for her to change her mind. The following day during their internship, it became obvious to everyone that Young-seok smelled of alcohol. Hyun-sua immediately sensed it was time for her to make her move. During lunch, Hyun-sua directly announced to all her classmates that she liked Young-seok. As a result, Hyun-sua's admirers started to drift away. Young-seok immediately ran to the lab and, in front of everyone, demanded to have a talk with Hyun-sua. She had been telling everyone that she liked him, which made Young-seok dislike her even more. Young-seok thought that if he started dating someone else, it would tarnish his reputation. At this moment, Mirai began to overthink. She wondered why Hyun-sua, knowing that Young-seok didn't like her, would publicly pursue him. She suddenly realized that Hyun-sua was only trying to use Young-seok. Mirai, who had been listening, suddenly barged in and asked to speak with Hyun-sua privately. Mirai knew Hyun-sua disliked her and couldn't stand the idea of Young-seok liking her, but she asked Hyun-sua not to use Young-seok. She told Hyun-sua not to interfere with Jing-shi's life. Hyun-sua was famous, and if Young-seok started dating someone else, she would lose her top position in his life. Hyun-sua wouldn't let anyone else have a chance with him. Finally, Mirai understood what Hyun-sua had been doing all along. From the glasses-wearing senior to the middle school classmate Won-ho, Hyun-sua had been trying to make Mirai realize that she was an unattractive person and couldn't compete with someone like her. Hyun-sua became arrogant and exposed her true nature. Mirai saw this side of her for the first time. While the teaching assistant, who had been rejected by Mirai, got drunk, when Young-seok was taking care of him, she learned that Mirai had turned down the confession. Young-seok couldn't stay calm anymore. He immediately called Mirai to meet up and confirm the situation, seeking the answer he wanted. Just as he was about to leave, Mirai said, "From now on, let's be together." The next day, they took the bus together. Mirai mentioned that they should keep their relationship a secret for now because she wasn't ready to announce it to everyone. Young-seok shyly asked Mirai if they could hold hands, since they weren't around anyone they knew. Hyun-sua ran into Young-seok and said that she had already told the other classmates. She had been rejected and wouldn't do it again. While Young-seok was unsure of how to respond, Mirai cleared up her confusion. Mirai boldly admitted their relationship and said they were together. Hyun-sua forced a smile and left. Young-seok was surprised and didn't understand why Mirai had said they had to keep their relationship private if she was now being so open. But Mirai reassured him that Hyun-sua wouldn't spread the news because of her wounded pride. After class, they went to a restaurant, but Mirai kept glancing around, checking if anyone they knew was nearby. And Mirai spent time with her classmates. However, things took an unexpected turn when she discovered photos of herself being secretly taken and spread online. She was upset, wondering who was behind it. Meanwhile, Young-seok waited at Mirai's door and finally received her phone call. Mirai was getting ready to go home. When she arrived, she sprayed a lot of perfume at home and prepared to take off her shoes. They had dinner together and spent time making scented candles. As they worked on the candles, Young-seok accidentally hurt her hand. Mirai quickly rushed to clean it, deeply concerned for her. Seeing Mirai so caring, Young-seok embraced her tightly. Not long after, they noticed the scent of something burning. The candle had burned out. After cleaning up, Young-seok lit another candle but received a call from her childhood friend, asking about their relationship. Mirai noticed Young-seok acting secretly and felt it was unfair. So, Mirai decided to make their relationship public. The next day, Mirai and Young-seok arrived at the lab and noticed their classmates staring at them. They didn't think much of it at first. Meanwhile, Hyun-sua found Won-ho, the boy who had been secretly infatuated with her. She remembered how Won-ho had once taken pictures of her with a camera and started scolding him, demanding he delete all the photos. Won-ho, feeling pressured, insisted that he had only taken a few shots. The manager of the perfume company stepped in, announcing that they could create their own custom fragrance. The manager noticed the chemistry between Mirai and Young-seok and suggested that Mirai try creating a fragrance based on her emotions. Surprised, Mirai wasn't sure how to respond. Mirai gathered her courage and replied, confirming that she and Young-seok were indeed together. The classmates were shocked, and they couldn't help but feel happy for them. Things weren't as complicated as Mirai had thought, and it turned out that everyone around them had already noticed how well-suited they were. Hyun-sua couldn't believe they would openly admit their relationship. Later, Mirai received a call from her parents, informing her that no one would be home tonight. That evening, she and Young-seok went to her house after missing the last bus. Young-seok suddenly came across a photo of Mirai from middle school and was about to take a closer look when Mirai hurriedly stepped in to stop him. Mirai voiced her confusion. asking why Young-sok would still want to be with her even after knowing what she looked like in the past. Young-sok, however, told her simply, just hide it. He just wanted to see her past self, so Mirai reluctantly showed him the old photos again. Mirai couldn't believe that Young-sok still liked her even after seeing what she looked like before. Young-seok placed her drink down and smiled. Meanwhile, the assistant teacher had learned that Hyun-sua's photos were continuously being circulated online and began to investigate. She arranged to meet Hyun-sua and told her that they should report the matter to the police and cooperate as witnesses. However, Hyun-sua refused. She didn't want to become the center of attention, even though the stalker was in the wrong. Afraid of the rumors, she quickly left. Despite this, the assistant teacher went back home and started looking through the forum posts one by one. She discovered that the stalker had started posting online again, claiming to know where Hyun-sua lived. The assistant teacher immediately called Hyun-sua, but found her phone turned off. Meanwhile, Hyun-sua was at home, feeding stray cats near her house. Suddenly, a male classmate appeared in front of her, barging into her room and demanding an apology. He questioned Hyun-sua, pointing out how she had always greeted him, smiled at him, accepted drinks from him, and even agreed to take photos together. He accused her of leading him on and now, in front of him, saying she liked Young-seok without considering his feelings. The confrontation escalated, and he shoved Hyun-sua to the ground. Yet as Hyun-sua cried out for help, he held a bottle of liquid in her hand and warned her not to act so arrogantly. Just then, Young-seok and Mirai arrived at Hyun-sua's home and saw the male classmate run out in a panic. Young-seok immediately chased after him and subdued him. Hyun-sua, holding her face, began to cry, afraid to look. She kept repeating, "What did he pour on me?" Mirai smelled the liquid and realized it was just water. Hyun-sua, feeling defeated, finally started to calm down when Mirai reassured her. Mirai reached out to help her up, but Hyun-sua pushed her away. Mirai, unable to take it anymore, expressed her frustration. She told Hyun-sua that she couldn't stand it, and Hyun-sua needed to stop. The tension between them grew, but Mirai insisted on trying to support her. The assistant teacher took Hyun-sua to the hospital, and when Hyun-sua regained consciousness, she found Mirai by her side. A teacher from the school came to ask Hyun-sua if anyone could accompany her, to which Hyun-sua responded affirmatively. But then, as she left the office, she found a caring female classmate waiting for her at the door. The classmate told her that she would be her friend from then on. As summer ended, Young-seok and Mirai returned to school. The students were buzzing with excitement about their relationship. Young-seok and Mirai, now openly in love, made a perfect couple. On Young-seok's birthday, Mirai thoughtfully bought her a cake and sang her a birthday song in front of everyone. She also gave her a couple's sweatshirt as a birthday gift. The two took sweet photos together and began living their happy lives. Thanks for watching. Please like and drop a heart if you love the story. See you next time.